I'm officially stepping into the world of testosterone, not because I need validation, not because I'm chasing numbers or approval, but because I have more to prove to myself. The version of me you thought you knew is gone.
So every day, I have to wake up and I have to show the world that I'm a man. It's not enough that I am a man. I have to now prove my worth.
You mentioned from personal experience being aware of the dark side of anabolic use. What is that?
How long do you have anxiety like you would not believe?
This was considered a superhero physique in 2002, while today a physique like this is considered out of shape. Why has our perception of what a good physique is gotten so warped? How can a Mr. Olympia be considered a dad bod? And today, with people jumping on PEDs after less than 1 year of training, what can we even do to stop this terrifying evolution and downward spiral?
Can you rate this guy's physique?
Can't see him.
Oh. And so they quite literally show Chris Bumstead, who's maybe gained 10 pounds of body fat and grew a beard, said, "Ooh, it's so wonderful now, it's a 10. Oh no, it's still only a 7, it's a 2. I don't like that." Really? What is wrong with you?
Now let's take a step back to try understanding where this all began. For a long time, Barbie had been considered a symbol of body dysmorphia in younger girls, and has, according to many, promoted unrealistic expectations of the human body, which could cause young girls to compare themselves to this idealized physique and appearance, and in return reduce their own self-esteem. Now, I'm not gonna look down on that and say that they're wrong, but I want to approach this situation from a different point of view, because recently, this issue has emerged for a lot of guys. For reference, here are some of the action figures I grew up with in the early 2000s. The Hulk, Ninja Turtles, and X-Men figures who are better built than any natural gym goer, with physiques considered out of this world. And these are the movies and TV shows many of us grew up watching. Dragon Ball Z, virtually every action movie in the 80s and 90s, even James Bond went from looking pretty alright to this in the span of a few movies. And most superheroes nowadays look like they're just a few weeks away from stepping on stage in bodybuilding. Now, I don't think casting buff guys for movie roles is the worst offender, but over the last few decades, these next level physiques have been pushed into our daily lives and entertainment. Everywhere you look, people posted in the magazines, in movies, in commercials, are all in tremendous shape, while at the same time, everyone is going about how you should accept yourself for who you are and just love yourself regardless, creating quite an oxymoron. But that's nothing compared to the current era of social media. People nowadays are so constantly glued to their phones, a tool which should in theory help us with communication, with education, and understanding more of the outside world and problem solving. But rather, through the use of social media platforms like TikTok and Instagram, many are left endlessly scrolling, with an algorithm designed to keep you hooked and wanting more of that content you enjoy. So if you've watched a few workout tutorials, maybe some memes about training or fitness, you will quickly be dragged into a rabbit hole of impressive physiques, far overreaching what is naturally obtainable. Maybe you just started with the idea that a six-pack was all you wanted to feel good, but after repeated exposure to the top 1% of gym goers, now you want bigger arms, rounder shoulders, a chest like Arnold's, and maybe if you're crazy enough, you want to compete in bodybuilding and to get into absurd low levels of body fat. And these ideals just keep piling up, even inside of the fitness community. Take a look at men's physique. Back in 2010 and 2012, their physiques were more reminiscent of a built beach body, still somewhat realistic and appealing for the average guy. While in 2024, these guys look like full-fledged bodybuilders. Just look at the current men's physique, Mr. Olympia, Ryan Terry, who has been competing at the top level for over a decade. This was him in 2015, and this is him after winning this year. There's probably a good 25 pounds of muscle added to his frame in that time span. And it's not just men's physique. Classic physique, which was originally introduced as a return to a more aesthetic bodybuilding standard, has expanded its weight classes several times to accommodate for increasingly massive physiques. So how far is too far? But here's the real problem. It's not just about chasing a bigger physique, it's about the mental health toll this takes on young men. More and more people, especially teenagers, are developing body dysmorphia, a condition where they become obsessed with perceived flaws in their own appearance. And it's no longer just about being lean or fit, it's about never feeling good enough, never feeling big enough, and no matter how much progress you make, the numbers speak for themselves.
You mentioned from personal experience being aware of the dark side of anabolic use. What is that?
How long do you have anxiety like you would not believe? every day that I'm on high doses, I wake up in the morning afraid of the rest of my day.
Studies have shown that the use of performance-enhancing drugs like anabolic steroids is on the rise in young men. Even those who've only been training for a short time, they feel like they need to take these substances to keep up with the unrealistic standards set by social media. Trends like looks maxing, influencers, and the fitness industry as a whole. This could be incredibly dangerous, not only for their physical health, but also for their mental well-being. And that's without mentioning that PEDs can lead to long-term health consequences, including heart disease, liver damage, hormonal imbalances, but the psychological impacts are just as severe. Imagine, say, you take something for 3 to 4 years, you put on an absurd amount of muscle, and you get a physique that you've always wanted. But once you get there, you still don't feel like it's enough. Then once you realize you can't stay on that stuff forever, you drop the dosages and the muscles you've built slowly dwindles away, causing you to think even worse of your current physique than what you did starting out.
There's a disorder called muscle dysmorphia, sometimes known as bigorexia. It's a type of body dysmorphic disorder where someone perceives their body shape as a distressing flaw in their appearance that doesn't line up with how they might actually look.
The constant pressure to maintain or even surpass these exaggerated physiques can lead to anxiety, depression, and even eating disorders. So how can we stop this madness? First of all, we should promote transparency. Fitness influencers and public figures need to be more transparent about what it takes to actually achieve their physiques, whether that involves years of hard work, strict dieting, or even PEDs. Honesty about the entire process can help set more realistic expectations for many. If people knew that many of these physiques were not obtainable naturally, it might alleviate some of the pressure. But they should also talk about the negative experiences if they decide to be open about it, since many will just promote the positive aspects of, say, taking gear, giving a false assumption that you can take these substances for a long time while being very healthy. 2, we should encourage balance. The fitness industry should start promoting a more balanced approach to health and fitness, one that emphasizes not just aesthetics, but strength, mobility, mental health, and just overall well-being. And even though it's kind of a meme, hybrid athletes, calisthenics guys, and even powerlifting takes away a lot of those body expectations and focuses on how you can use your muscles instead of being fixated on how they look. There's also education and awareness. Schools, gyms, and online communities should focus on educating young people about the dangers of body dysmorphia, PED use, and unrealistic fitness standards. Offering tools and resources to deal with these pressures can help protect future generations from falling into the same traps. Especially for the next generation who tend to get more of their information from social media, critical thinking can be key. And finally, we need to foster a culture of self-acceptance. It's okay to have fitness goals and to strive for continuous improvement. I do that myself all the time. But it's also important to accept where you are in your journey and not feel like you have to live up to somebody else's standards, and actually be happy with the results you've gotten. And if you're not able to enjoy the journey of lifting, building muscle, and the gym as a whole, then you're not gonna find the end results to be that appealing either. Because once you get there, you still have to keep working to maintain it. That's also what a guy like Sam Sulek preaches. Yes, even though he's on stuff, he's arguably just a guy enjoying the gym experience, seeing gains, and having fun while he can. The bottom line is that we need to be aware of how these things affect us, because these are not visible issues. If you just started out in the gym, you'll probably look at one of the bigger guys and think, wow, he has a great physique, and you just assume that he's happy with it. But in reality, he may be taking gear, tearing himself down every day just because he's not where he wants to be, messing up his long-term health and life quality to get one step closer to that idea of a perfect physique, which he in reality will never reach.
Your body was trying to kill you.
Absolutely. Just before I turned 50, I had the heart surgery. That's when I afterwards came out of it and I said, you're now damaged goods.
I figured this video would be a bit different to my usual format, but because I've seen a lot of these issues firsthand through friends and clients, hopefully covering this topic is gonna help a lot of people out by understanding why they've lost their drive and will in the gym, and why they look down on their own results. It's kind of counterproductive as somebody who works with social media to say this, but if you follow fitness influencers based on just how they look, and not because of the value they bring, then you should probably not be following them. But instead, find out what you like about the gym, set some goals, and gun for those, while not letting yourself be affected by what others around you are doing. So, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all next time.